Hey everyone, and a very warm welcome back. Today I want to dive into a story from the Quran that has always just blown me away with how much power it packs into such a small space. We're talking about the prophet Nuh, or Noah, and his story unfolds in just 3 verses. It's this incredible, timeless case study on everything from clear communication and sincerity to the real weight of the choices we make. So let's explore it together.
So the story kicks off with this direct command: recite to them. This isn't just, a casual suggestion. It's a real instruction to share this history, to learn from it. We're basically being invited right into the scene to listen in as Noah starts to speak to his people. The stage is set for something big.
So, what's this big announcement all about? Well, this very first verse sums up Noah's entire mission, and he does it with a very specific title he gives himself.
He calls himself a Nadhir Mubin. And that phrase, it tells you everything you need to know. It's not just any old warning. Mubin means it's crystal clear, totally unambiguous. There's no way to misunderstand it. And Nadhir means it's a warning with real weight, a deep moral urgency. This is a message that absolutely matters.
It's actually an amazing model for how we should communicate today. Think about it. The role of a clear warner is the perfect blueprint for giving important, maybe even difficult feedback. The goal is always clarity and compassion. It's not about attacking someone. It's about delivering a necessary message because you genuinely want to help. Okay, so Noah's laid out his job description. But you know what happens next, right? People immediately get suspicious. The first question is always, yeah, but what's in it for you? So he has to get ahead of that and make his motive perfectly clear.
And his defense is just so simple and so final. He says, look, I'm not asking for any worldly payment. No money, no power, no special treatment for delivering this message. My reward, my ajr, he says, comes from a much higher source. He makes it absolutely plain that he is not driven by any kind of personal gain.
And this is where we see that powerful contrast. On one side, you have Noah's motive, which is completely pure. His reward is with God, and he's just doing what he was commanded to do, to be one of the Muslimin, one of those who submits. And on the other side, well, you've got all the typical motives we're so used to seeing. People chasing money or influence or power. Noah basically draws a line in the sand and says his work has a very different kind of payroll.
So we've got a clear warning, delivered with pure intentions. You'd think that would work, right? Well, this brings us to the story's dramatic climax, the rejection, and the huge decisive consequences that follow.
And there it is, 4 simple words that change everything. Despite the absolute clarity of his message and the obvious sincerity of the messenger, his people rejected him. And that single act of denial is what sets the entire final act into motion.
You can really think of this final verse as a super compact 3-act play. Act 1, the warning. Act 2, the denial. And Act 3, the end game. It's just this perfect, logical flow of cause and effect where the final outcome is directly tied to how the people responded. And this endgame has 2 very different parts. First, for Noah and those who actually believed him, there's deliverance. God saves them in the ark, the al-Fulk. Their choice to listen to the warning leads to a very real, very tangible salvation.
But for those who denied the signs, the outcome is the polar opposite. They are drowned. The story is incredibly direct about it, showing these starkly different consequences that come from acceptance versus rejection.
Now, the believers weren't just saved, they were made khulafa, and this word is so important. It means successors. They weren't just survivors clinging to wreckage, no, they were chosen to inherit the earth, to restart everything, and to begin a whole new chapter for humanity. Their survival had a purpose, to build a righteous community from the ground up.
Okay, so let's pull back. After walking through that whole intense 3-verse story, what's the enduring moral? What are the big lessons we can take away from this incredible Quranic case study?
So let's just recap the key points here. We saw that a prophet's mission starts with patient, honest warning. We learned that true sincerity means you're not in it for worldly gain. And importantly, that rejection is actually a really common response. But in the end, the outcome is decisive. The believers are saved to become the new stewards of the earth, and the deniers are held accountable for their choice. And the story closes with this incredibly powerful question, aimed directly at us. It says, "Then see, how was the end of those who were warned?" It's not just telling us what happened, it's asking us to really look at the result, to learn from it, and to understand that deep connection between a warning given and the final consequence. It's a question to really sit with long after this is over.